Hello and happy birthday, Aquarius. Welcome to your solar return sun sign forecast for the year ahead. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the energy that's coming up for you for the next year. And when I talk about the next year, I'm talking about your own personal solar year, beginning with your birthday this year and ending with your birthday in 2021. So your own personal solar cycle. And so we're going to be getting into the energy of your solar return and especially the energy of what's coming up for you in the year ahead based on transits to your sun. And so hopefully this will provide a little bit of a roadmap for you for your year ahead and will help you to set the right intentions for your own personal solar rebirth at your birthday, for your own personal solar new year. And so if you want to go much deeper into what's coming up for you in the year ahead, I do have a 2-hour solar return forecast that's available down in the link in the description below. There are specific indicators given for different birthdays and things like that, so you can get a lot of detail and a lot of really good solid information out of that forecast if you just want to go deeper and have a really good understanding of what's coming up for you on a more general level in terms of the major themes, as well as in a more specific way with the details in the transits. And so for this video, we're going to be focusing mostly on the transits to Aquarius sun signs for the year ahead. And it's looking like it's going to be a pretty good year for Aquarius. You will have Saturn entering your sign, and that's going to begin in, I believe, May of this year. So you're going to start to have this energy of Saturn moving into the sign of Aquarius, hitting your sun, which for all Aquariuses, this is going to be a little bit of a taste of what's to come for you in the next 2.5 years with Saturn transiting through the sign of Aquarius. However, this first pass that'll just be happening this summer, this little dip into the sign of Aquarius, is going to be potentially a lot more difficult than the extended version of this transit. So if it does feel quite intense and quite challenging at first in those first few months when we do have Saturn moving into Aquarius, just know that the second pass of this and when it really comes fully into the sign of Aquarius, it's not going to be quite as tense or intense, because as you have Saturn moving into the sign of Aquarius, Mars is actually going to be joining Saturn for this very first pass. And so Mars is the lesser malefic, Saturn's the great malefic, and so it can feel like all of a sudden you have some sort of burden or challenge or responsibility that is weighing on you really heavily that you need to address right now. It's going to feel like you want to take action on something, but you're not going to really be able to push forward or push through or do it all at once. Saturn's going to require that you take a step back, that you slow it down, and that you do things the right way and not the fast way. And so because of this, there's going to be this energy. It's kind of like hurry up and wait. It's like you might want to initiate something new, a really important new project related to your career or to something that's deeply meaningful to you. And it might feel like it's weighing on you and you need to get this going. But if you try to push and if you try to do it all at once this summer, it's not going to work. You're going to come into a lot of frustration and a lot of roadblocks. However, you do need to get things moving. And so this is going to be a time of you kind of reevaluating your current responsibilities, letting go of burdens and oppressive energies that are not serving you anymore, but doing that in a very slow, methodical, responsible way. And then also, over the course of the next couple of years and starting this year, you're going to have to start something new. You're going to have to create new responsibilities to put in their place as you're working on wrapping up and very responsibly tying up loose ends and letting go of things that no longer serve you. And so that's going to be a big theme, but just know that that's going to be more intense this summer. And actually the second time that Saturn moves into Aquarius this year will be in December. And that'll actually be be occurring at the same time that Jupiter, the great benefic, is moving into the sign of Aquarius, and there will be a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction in your sign. And so if you did initiate something really important, if you were thinking in the long term as opposed to just wanting to get some sort of immediate relief or immediate gratification from the efforts that you were putting in, if you were thinking about like the long-term effects of what you're doing and really planning for the future, then Jupiter is going to bring some rewards, some relief, some benefits from that work that you put in earlier this year in the summer. And so just know that if things are especially stressful and difficult this summer, it doesn't mean that it's going to continue that way. Early born Aquariuses are going to feel that the most, but you're going to get rewarded very heavily and very quickly for your efforts this year, and that'll begin in December. Jupiter moving into the sign of Aquarius is going to bring a lot of benefits for all Aquarius people. So this is going to help you to feel much more optimistic, much more uplifted, to have a much better mood, a much better outlook on life. And even though Saturn's dipping into your sign and there is this energy of feeling challenged and feeling overworked and feeling like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, that Jupiter energy coming in is going to help to uplift you. It's going to help you to see that there is work that needs to be done, but there's a reason for it, and it's going to give you this really great perspective on that experience. It's going to help you to see the bigger picture, and it's going to ensure that any challenges that you do face, with any challenges you do face, the end results will be positive, and that you'll be protected from having some of the more overtly negative impacts of Saturn transiting your sun sign. So these are things that are going to be coming up for you as well. Uranus is going to be squaring your sun too. And so you're going to be wanting to make a lot of really crazy changes. And you already might have been feeling that because Uranus first moved into Taurus and started squaring your sun in May of 2018. And so you might be feeling already this frustration with your current circumstances, this frustration with the roles that you've taken on and the way that you're sort of going about your life that might not necessarily be authentic to you. You might be adhering to a certain role or doing something because, of group consensus, or because of what other people think, or because you believe that you'll be loved and accepted by your friends or by people who are important to you a lot more so if you act or behave in a certain way. And, you're going to realize this, and you're no longer going to be able to do that anymore. And so if you are acting outside of your authentic self and what you truly desire, what your soul wants to accomplish in this lifetime, you're not going to be able to push on and continue to behave in that way or to carry that role anymore. You're going to be changing who you are. But when you do this year, this is not a year to change things impulsively just because you feel super frustrated and you want to change it right now in the moment. This is a time to make impactful long-term changes that will benefit you well into the future, because you have not only Jupiter, which is a 12-year cycle, so thinking about how these changes and these opportunities that you take hold of and these new things that you're beginning this year, thinking about how they're going to impact you for the next 12 years, but also thinking about the fact that Saturn's going to lock you into the responsibilities that you take on. So if you make the wrong decisions, if you act impulsively, you might be locking yourself in for 30 years of this with the next Saturn cycle, or at least 7 years until we get to the next square of Saturn and you're able to sort of do some adjusting there. So you want to make sure that you're not acting impulsively, that the changes you're making are coming from a place of frustration that's been building for quite some time when it comes to your current circumstances. And this could be in all areas of life. This could be with your career, with your relationships. This could be, with your family situation, with your living situation, with friendships. I mean, you're probably going to be changing in a lot of ways. And so wherever you've been feeling that need for change for quite some time, and you've really been thinking about it, and you know how this could potentially impact your life well into the future, think about the unintended consequences of your actions and how this could impact you later on. If you're doing that, then these changes will be positive for you. And with Uranus, that is the ruler of your sign, and so you will do better to adapt to these changes than other signs might, with this really strong energy that can bring some shocking, unexpected unexpected changes that can cause you to want to really rebel against your current circumstances, you'll know what to do and you'll be able to roll with the punches. The other energies that are happening this year are, of course, Mars and Venus will be retrograde. And this only occurs once every couple of years. And so when it happens, it's more significant than some of the other retrogrades that occur on a yearly basis, or like a Mercury retrograde, which occurs usually 3 times per year. And so Venus is actually going to be retrograding in Gemini. That's great news for you because it's going to be trining your sun. And so this is going to be May through June. You're going to have this really positive, really powerful energy of what this is going to be about is you sort of reestablishing your innate self-worth or your sense of self-worth. This is going to be you feeling much better about yourself, much more confident, because when we're talking about a retrograde planet, it's a strong energy because the planet is closer to the Earth, but it's in retrograde, which makes it more internalized and more introspective. And so for a lot of people with Venus retrograde, they're going to be struggling with self-worth issues. They're going to be struggling with relationship or financial or material issues. For you, it's going to be a much more positive expression of that energy where you're going to sort of revitalize or reestablish your innate sense of value. You're going to feel much better about yourself as a result of the internal work that you're going to be doing. And this is a time where really important friendships, especially group connections, connections with your community, siblings, connections with people that you care about, that have maybe been forgotten or that you've let go of, that you kind of miss. So people in your life that you used to spend time with or that you used to be really deeply connected to, that are no longer a part of your life or are no longer a big part of your life, you may have a really incredible opportunity to reintegrate these people into your life during this time. So it's more positive for Aquarians than for some of the other signs. The Mars retrograde is going to be similar. It'll be in sextile to your sun, and this is going to be September through November. It'll be retrograde in the sign of Aries. And so this is a time for you to reevaluate your ambitions, your goals, your plans before continuing on or initiating some sort of new action. And you're going to be supported in just feeling really energized and really motivated and really wanting to hash things out and figure out your goals and plans for the future. And so this is going to give you that energy. The final thing that's going to be happening this year for you guys is that the nodes will be shifting into Gemini and Sagittarius. And so the North Node will begin to transit the sign of Gemini. That means that the North Node will be trining your sun and the South Node will be sextiling your sun. This also means that the eclipses will start to trine and sextile your sun. And so this is a time where over the course of the next 18 months, actually beginning in May, where you're going to be very gently, sometimes not so gently, but in a way that feels good, but you'll be pulled into a completely new direction in some area of your life. And really, your whole life can change and your whole life path can change because this is involving your sun, but it will usually change in a way that's very positive and that doesn't feel bad in the moment. It doesn't feel like there's chaos ensuing. It doesn't feel like there's all this, crazy stuff going on all at once. It just feels really good and it feels like this is what's supposed to be happening and I'm okay with it. And you'll have these signs and synchronicities and fated connections that'll come up that'll help steer you in the right direction. So this is a life-changing year in a gentle, positive way, and especially for some of you who are going to be impacted by those eclipses much more strongly, which I do get into in that 2-hour forecast, but this is going to be beyond just this year. You guys are going to be changing your life for the better. You're going to be realigning yourself with the right path. And it'll be quite easy to figure out what that path should be because the signs and synchronicities and all of that will be lining up for you. It's kind of like the gates open and you just get to walk right into the reality that you were meant to head into during this time. So that's an exciting thing. I love when the eclipses and the nodes are trining and sextiling anyone's sun. For me personally, I really appreciate that. And so I think this will be a positive experience for you guys. And so that's pretty much the gist of it. Again, you can get the extended 2-hour forecast down in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to share it with an Aquarius who might enjoy learning about what's ahead for them this year. So thank you guys again, and I will see you next time.